This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to the Anjana Sutta Academy, Saturday morning Srimad Bhagavatam workshop. And this is 2020, September 22nd. And present here we have Hanumat Purushottam Swami, Tom Brown, Buckwood, and the rest of the Anjana Sutta Academy people here. And we have Yashoda, Subala, Shruti Sriram Arunachalam. Sriram Arunachalam. Radhika Ramana Das. Purnamasi Devi Dasi. PK Das. Radharani Gopi. Namachintamani Mitra Vinda. Lavanya Mangalalita Gopi. Kirtida Devi Dasi. Kamama Mama. Kamamami. Kamamami Gayatri Devi Dasi. Jayanta Das. Kshatriya. Janavi Devi Dasi. Arsh. Guru Govinda Dasi. Gracias. Also known as Maite. Chaitanya Charitamrita Das. Carlos Raul Bhakti Amparo. Bhaktidamian. Y el hombre oprotular de calle cortando la paja. Hasta Saki Devi Dasi. Apsara Gopi. Anandamaya, Karunamayi, Abhinandan, Su Gopi Radha Devi Dasi. Srinivasa Charya. My God. It is all the superhuman crew. There is no Lakshman. Yes. Okay. And there is no Madhuravinda Puri. Okay. Okay. Who can be our chief guest today? Invitado principal. Om Namo Bhagavate. Radhika Raman, you want to be chief guest today?
Maj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Maj, I can do that.
Okay. We're selecting you because you have good connection.
Yes,
Okay.
Maj.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
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 Gopi Jana Bala Bagiri Varadari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari.
Yashoda Nandana Raja Jararanjana.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Jamuna Tira Brahmachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Aha. Jamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Hey Jaya Radha Majaba Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Shri Radha Madhava Astasaki Chaitanya Chandraya Mandir Ki Jai.
Jai.
Narayanam Namaskrityam.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayam Udirayat.
Tato Jayamudirayet.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, here we have the Vedabase.com. Aquí tenemos Vedabase.com. dirigido por Prahlad Nrsinga Das, organized by Prahlad Nrsinga Das. And we can see which books he put first. Y podemos ver cuáles libros está eligiendo primero. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Libro Krishna, Science of Self-Realization. Entonces, Lilamrita. Entonces, Enseñanzas de Señor Chaitanya, Nectar de la Instrucción, Enseñanzas de Señor Kapila. Okay. Y Upanishad, Reina Kunti. Okay. En los libros pequeños, Beyond Birth and Death, Bhakti, El Arte de Amor Eterno, Civilización, Trascendencia, de Yoga, una unidad, segundo verdad, secundario. Yeah. Ese es Ajamil. Estoy, Sendero de Perfección, el viaje de autoconocimiento. Nectar de la Devoción, Raja, Mahabharata. Okay. So aquí tenemos libro por Krishna Dharma Das. Pienso que es muy buen Mahabharata. It's a very good Mahabharata. Many times in the Mahabharata and Ramayana, when devotees do it, there's the story, and then there's like, okay, now I'm gonna preach to you. So it kind of goes into some like preaching, which separated, you know. But in his books, the preaching seems like it's a natural part of the narrative. Muchas veces, cuando los devotos está escribiendo Mahabharata y Ramayana, está presentando los pasatiempos, el lila, pero entonces, okay, ahora voy a predicar a ustedes. Okay, es como artificial. Pero por mi experiencia en Mahabharata y Ramayana, Krishna Dharma está presentando de una manera muy natural, está fluyendo con el contenido del lila. En el sendero a Krishna, y luz de la Bhagavata, y Brahma Samhita. Okay, yeah. What we don't have is Brihat Bhagavatamrita. No está aquí. Hay otros libros, pero es un buen recurso. It's a very nice resource. And also it's nice. I like the pictures. I got used to the pictures. Estoy acostumbrado a las pinturas instead of the names, picking things. Okay. Radha, chief guest, what would you like to study today?
Srimad Bhagavatam, Guru Maharaj.
Invitado principal, que le gusta estudiar hoy día. El día Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, click. Oh, hay muchas opciones. There's so many choices here. Which of these books would you like to study?
Second canto.
Okay, él dice canto segundo. Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. 10 chapters. We know that. Which chapter? ¿Cuál capítulo? ¿Cuál capítulo? ¿Qué capítulo?
How about chapter 10?
Oh, okay. Have you already selected a verse? Or you just okay.
No, Maharaj.
Okay. It's like a buffet, no?
Yes.
Smorgasbord. Mm-hmm. Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Chapter 8 is the questions by Maharaj Pariksit. And capítulo 8 es preguntas por Maharaj Pariksit. Capítulo 9 es comenzando. Es describir el ambiente. Sukadeva Goswami está comentando, voy a responder a su pregunta, describiendo lo que Narada Muni ha aprendido por Brahma. And he said, Sukadeva Goswami says, well, I'll answer your question by describing what Narada Muni learned from Lord Brahma. Okay. Yeah. It's very integrated. Okay. And aquí otra vez, and now again. make it very tiny. Okay. So it's a good sized chapter. It's bastante robusto, como 51 verses. Okay. Oh my gosh, what happened here? Okay. Can you still hear me, Chief Guest?
Yes, Maharaj, I can still hear you, but no screen sharing.
Screen sharing went to the Patala Loka. Okay. Andhra Mishra. Suchimukhi. One devotee, my good brother, Tapan Charyadas, he said that okay. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. He said all these names of the different hells sounded like Japanese prisoner of war camps. Like that. Suchimuka. You know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Text 1. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said in the Srimad Bhagavatam there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: the creation of the universe, sub-creation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of Manus, the science of God. Oh, we lost it again. What's happening? This is the most strange thing. My robot is... somebody else is trying to load it there. Maybe it's Sugopi Radha. She's doing it. She's the criminal. You know, her. Or Srinivas. They logged on. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm the new presenter. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Where were we here? Returning home, returning home. Oh, there's a comma there. There's a mistaken comma, isn't there? Is that a mistake, isn't it? Returning home back to Godhead. Okay. Liberation and the summum bonum. Okay. Professor Gupta, what does summum bonum mean in English?
The highest point?
Or the highest good?
The highest good.
Oh, okay. All right. I only have a bachelor's degree. I'm a bachelor. Okay. It's good, which I guess might be the highest benefit. Bonum. Bona fide. Bona fide. It's nice to know the Latin. Aparece muchas veces que la correspondiente al Sanskrit, you know. It seems many times the Latin corresponds to this, that our original religion very kind of matches the same Vedic perspective. Que nuestra cultura de conocimiento original de las media edades in the Vedica. Okay. So, do you know why he's talking about this now? ¿Conoce usted, señor de principal, hablando de este tema?
No, Guru Maharaj.
Oh, okay. I think it's easy to say no. Okay, it's okay, because he identified the answer to Maharaj Parikshit's question as being Srimad Bhagavatam, porque estuvo identificando la respuesta a las preguntas de Maharaj Parikshit como Srimad Bhagavatam, and he actually uses the name, I think, Bhagavatam, like that, not just Hari Katha. Yeah. He's identifying the four nutshell verses, condensed form, as Bhagavatam, and then Narada Muni heard it, and then Narada Muni, and that's Maharaj Parikshit's question. What is his main question? Back in the questions by Maharaj Parikshit.
The duty of a person who is about to die?
No. This is chapter 8.
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay. He, after hearing all about how Brahma, ¿cuál es la pregunta de Maharaj Parikshit en capítulo 8? Después de oír cómo Narada Muni ha sido oído de Señor Brahma. After he had heard how Narada Muni heard from Lord Brahma. Okay. The question is very natural. How did he do his Sankirtan? because Brahma says, now you go teach this to others. That's always in the Bhagavatam. Siempre eso es la forma de Bhagavatam. Hay un problema, viene Krishna o un devoto, la solución es Srimad Bhagavatam. Hay preguntas, sí o no, ok, entonces ya usted va para predicar a otros, para enseñar a otros. That's always the same thing. There's a problem, somebody has a problem. Krishna or the devotee comes, then Bhagavatam is the answer, solution to their problem. Yeah. Any questions? Yes, no. If no questions, okay, now you go and do the same thing. We preach, So, this after hearing from Lord Brahma, después de oír del Señor Brahma, Narada Muni ha ido para predicar. And he's gone preaching. And what was his name? So Maharaj Pariksit then asked, well, who did he talk to? How did he explain it? ¿A quién habló? ¿Cómo explicó? A very natural question. Okay. And so then he asked many more questions, mucho más preguntas de detalles, de cuál contenido, de qué modo, cuáles los ventajas de bhakti yoga, desventajas de karma yoga. What was the content? Which part of the Bhagavatam did he preach? How did he mention these things? What are the advantages of bhakti yoga? What are the disadvantages of karma yoga and jnana yoga? Yeah, and so then he says, Sukadeva Goswami está respondiendo that that he heard this from he preached what he heard from Brahma, and Brahma preached what he heard from Vishnu, which was in a summary like that. And you've already heard that. I think that's already there. Answers by citing the Lord's version. Maybe that's the next one. Yeah. Next chapter, then he answers by citing the Lord's version, glorifying the question, glorificando la pregunta, el ambiente, citando la versión de Krishna, que es 4 versos. Yeah. Eso es como Brahma oyó este contenido. Yeah. Quien ha sido explicando a Narada Muni. That's how Brahma got this knowledge that he was explaining to Narada Muni in these 4 verses. Yeah. Okay. Then he says this Bhagavatam, the 4 verses, is the answer to your question. Es el Srimad Bhagavatam de 4 textos, es respuesta a su pregunta. So, entonces aquí está escribiendo, tenía 10 aspectos. But this is true of all the Puranas, isn't it?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes.
Yeah. Is it actually, you actually find that in is it some of them are included and some of them are not included sometimes, or they all include all 10 of them?
So these 10 are considered to be the marks of a Mahapurana, a great Purana. So the 18 key ones have these 10 topics, but actually the traditional listing of the Purana topics are 5. Purana Panchalakshana are 5. So there's some disagreement about whether there's 5 or 10 in total, but many people say the average Purana has 5, but great Mahapuranas have 10.
Okay. Yo estuve preguntando si eso es verdad de todos sus Puranas. Estoy oyendo que tengo una fuente que todos sus Puranas tenían 10 temas. Preguntando del profesor Gupta si es verdad o no. Él dijo que sí, así que aceptado que los Mahapuranas, los 18 Puranas principal, ellos tienen este contenido. Pero la lista formal del contenido es 5. So hay un poco de desacuerdo si un Purana tiene 5 o 4. But amongst whom is the disagreement?
On commentators of the Puranas, but particularly commentators on Bhagavatam, as to how these, particularly the difference between 5 and 10, and also how these 10 apply to Bhagavatam. So Sridhar Swami says that these 10 go from first canto to the 10th canto, each canto doing the 10, and then 11 and 12 are kind of wrapping things up. And Vallabhacharya says, no, first 2 cantos are introductory, and you start with the 10 starting canto 3, leading up to canto 12 as Ashraya.
Okay, él dijo que hay desacuerdos entre los diferentes comentaristas, específicamente en el Bhagavatam, y Sridhar Swami dijo que los 10 temas está considerado en cada canto. Primero tema, primero canto, segundo tema. Y entonces la 11 y 12 están más o menos un resumen de todo. Pero Vallabhacharya, gran comentario, dice que no, 1 y 2 son introducción y los temas están comenzando primero, el tercero, 2, tercero, cuarto, de esta manera. Yeah, it's interesante. Yeah. And what does Jiva Goswami say? caught amongst all these. No, what is and Jiva Goswami? What does he say? What does he say?
Maharaj, the Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas all follow Sridhar Swami in his approach, because Mahaprabhu is very clear that we must follow Sridhar Swami's understanding of Bhagavatam.
But I've read in one purport, I think it's actually a purport, that Prabhupada says that Jiva Goswami doesn't agree with this. Doesn't agree with Sridhar Swami's commentary. Yeah. And and actually the contents are distributed here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. So one purport earlier.
Yes, Maharaj. He says both. So he says we follow Sridhar Swami and we find them like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But also the 10 can be found in any canto of Bhagavatam, so they're spread out. Yes, Maharaj.
So Prabhupada gives us as an acharya. So Jiva Goswami está comentando, él dijo que Jiva Goswami, nosotros estamos Gaudiya Vaishnava siguiendo Sridhar Swami, acuerdo de Sri Chaitanya. Y entonces él, ¿cómo se llama? Jiva Goswami preguntando, él dijo que okay, vamos a seguir Sridhar Swami, pero también vamos a encontrar, Jiva Goswami dijo, todos los diferentes temas en cada canto. And entonces, ¿qué hace Srila Prabhupada como nuestro acharya entre Jiva Goswami y Sridhar Swami? And I'm thinking Srila Prabhupada feels a little bit captured in between Jiva Goswami and Sridhar Swami. Like that. And so he shows us in an acharya how to deal with this. And so he says, this canto can be called creation. This canto can be called subcreation, like that. So I think Srila Prabhupada is using some weasel words to keep from getting crushed between. I'm not sure. What is the Siddha Swarup of Sridhar Swami? Yeah.
I don't know too much.
Okay, right. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting topic. Yeah. Future thesis. Me preguntas cuál es la Siddha Swarup de Sridhar Swami. Jiva Goswami es un manjari. Okay. Oh my gosh, so much to learn.
Maharaj, also in chapter 9 of Canto 2 with the Chatur Shloki, the Sridhar Swami and Vallabhacharya again disagree, because Sridhar Swami considers the 4 essential verses to be the ones that we understand as essential, 33, 34, 35, 36. Whereas beginning with Ahameva Samevagre, whereas Vallabhacharya considers all 7 verses spoken by Lord Vishnu to Brahma as being essential. He says, I don't see any reason to choose 4 from the 7 as being most important. So it's interesting, because when Chaitanya Charitamrita Mahaprabhu rejects Sridhar Swami Vallabhacharya, there's very, very clear differences, not just in subtle meanings of, read the verse this way or that way, which even our acharyas give multiple meanings, but in terms of thinking about the entire structure of Bhagavatam, how it's put together. And Vallabhacharya's understanding is so beautiful, very, very nice, but it's clearly a different sampradaya. It's not, it becomes different again, where it's not the same sampradaya we're talking about.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Radhika está comentando que otra vez, porque podemos ver en Chaitanya Charitamrita, si ustedes conocen, Vallabhacharya era contemporáneo con Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Era un gran brahmana, muy erudito. Y ha ido a Jagannath Puri para hablar con Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Antes estuvo encontrando a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mientras él pasando para Varanasi. Ha ido a Vrindavan regresando. Y muy bueno, estoy oyendo cosas, me ha traído poco orgullo por su casta, su nacimiento, su inteligencia. Ok, después que está viajando a Jagannath Puri para encontrar a Sri Chaitanya, Y él dijo, oh, yo tengo comentario superior, Sridhar Swami. Pero Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comentando que la persona que, la esposa que no conoce al Swami es incasta, prostituta. Okay. Fuerte. Yeah. Porque Swami en Bengal también es esposo. So, comentando, usted dice, oh, ahí tengo mejor comentario que mi Swami. Es como criticando de bromistoso, pero criticando, si usted está actuando como un prostituta, ¿verdad? No conoce su Swami. Tres maneras estaba rechazando su comentario porque nosotros aceptamos, siguiendo Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Balabhacharya. Okay. En Radhika comentando que hay diferencias específicas, nosotros aceptando 4 textos claves de capítulo 9 de Bhagavatam por Sridhar Swami, pero Balabhacharya comentando, no, todos los 7, no solamente 4. No. Y nos dijo que el comentario de Balabhacharya es muy hermoso, muy lindo, pero hay diferencias, no solamente de interpretación, diferentes modos de leer, pero cosas de estructura fundamental. So este es el mundo de Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the world of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very big, very big. Of course, one time Radhika and myself and other devotees were in Madras. Madras. Does it have a new name? Or
Chennai.
Chennai. Yes. And that's where we met Srinath Krishnadas. Okay, yeah. And they were bringing packages of fruit to the room, you know. And Radhika was off with all the boys at night, enjoying life in the restaurant, eating wild things like idli and vada, sambar. Yeah. Fuimos con Radhika además con devotos a Chennai, Madras, en una conferencia organizada por Oxford Center for Hindu Studies de Shonika Rishi, ISKCON, y la Universidad de Madras. El contenido de Srimad Bhagavatam era actual. What was the title? The content of Srimad Bhagavatam? Or?
Srimad Bhagavatam, it's philosophy, history, and one more thing I don't remember.
Culture? Art?
Art, yeah. It was something like that. Culture. Philosophy, history, and culture.
Okay. Filosofía, Historia, Cultura, and the Mundo Actual. And it was such a nice conference. It was very wonderful. Yeah. So much information. Tan mucha información de diferentes fuertes. En esta persona está hablando acerca de diferentes ilustraciones del Bhagavatam. Some people were talking a whole section about the illustrations in the Bhagavatam. And it's muy interesante, the arte and the representación del Bhagavatam. But then one section was about the catalog. How you say it now? Catalogus, catalogorum. How do you? That's proper pronunciation.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. Una sección era de la Catalogus Catalogorum, que es una bibliografía de todos obras sánscritos antiguas conocidos. It's a bibliography of all known ancient Sanskrit texts. Is that what it is?
Yes, handwritten manuscripts in libraries around the world. It's now quite outdated, so they produced a new one, but that also doesn't cover the majority. It doesn't cover many manuscripts because there's so many.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has a lot.
Es un catálogo de manuscritos de different bibliotecas en el mundo. Yeah. When I mentioned that too, that it was a catalog of all known ancient Sanskrit texts to Dr. Samaresh Bandyopadhyaya, you know what he did?
No.
He laughed. He said, Hanuman Swami, there's over 1 lakh of uncatalogued manuscripts in Varanasi Library alone by itself. Dr. Samaresh is so riéndose, Hanuman Swami, hay 1 lakh, que es 100,000, 100,000 textos antiguos solamente en la biblioteca de Varanasi. There's over 100,000 manuscripts uncatalogued. And of course, most of them, in spite of the best preservation techniques, are disappearing. La mayoría, al lado de los mejores modos de preservación, está destruyendo. So there's such resources, no, in Vedic literature that we can train up thousands of little ISKCON brahmacharis, boom, 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 marching off into the sunset, all learning Sanskrit. We should do that. Yeah, there's so much to be captured before it gets destroyed. Yeah. Okay, so this is this is a little perspective, I would say, on understanding the depth of the Vedic culture. Es un poco perspectivo entender la profundidad de esta cultura Vedic. Srimad Bhagavatam belongs to a very, very broad culture. Srimad Bhagavatam pertenece a una cultura muy amplia. Yeah. And aquí, Sukadeva Goswami está comenzando Srimad Bhagavatam, hay 10 divisiones en términos de. And in this way, va a responder, va a hablar de estas cosas. Yeah. My God. So my tendency would be to consider Sridhar Swami's commentary on the divisions. Yeah. So is it that we reject everything that Vallabhacharya differs with Sridhar Swami? Or maybe this is just a matter of understanding it properly, in the proper perspective that Sridhar Swami himself might have. It's interesting. You recognize him and respect him and sort of say, I think this and that. Well, okay. That's interesting. Okay, let's chant some Sanskrit here. It's also good because vamos a cantar poco sánscrito. Y aquí está muy bueno porque aquí es difícil traducir estos temas directamente en inglés. A veces. I think it's nice to do the Sanskrit here because it's hard to translate maybe these 10 terms exactly. Okay. Shri Sukha Uvacha.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Atra Sarga Visargascha.
Atra Sargo Visargascha.
Stanam Poshanam Utaya.
Sthanam Poshanamutaya.
Manvantare Shanu Kaya.
Manvantare Shanukatha.
Oh, Kanukatha. Yeah, okay. Nero. Okay. Nero de Mukti Rakshaya.
Nirodho Muktirashraya.
Okay. So you see the level of what is the level of my Devanagari?
Maharaj, it's quite good.
Because I know the text, I know the English to some way, the transliteration. It's nice. It's nice facility. What do you call it? Prahlad Nisringa gave some nice facility here. They're putting in the Devanagari. Yeah. Okay. So you chant and we'll all respond.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Atra Sargo Visargascha.
Atra Sargo Visargascha.
Sthanam Poshanamutaya.
Sthanam Poshanam Utaya.
Manvantare Shanukatha.
Manvantare Shanukatha.
Nirodho Muktirashraya.
Nirodho Muktirashraya. Okay, now the fickle finger of fate will descend upon some of our audience here. I will click this button. No, it's the wrong button. So many buttons we have. Oh, it is the right button. Okay, yeah, okay. Here we have, okay. Induleka, can you chant? Puede cantar Induleka Devidasi? Y vamos a responder.
Yes, Gurudev. Sri Sukha Uvacha.
Shri Sukha Uvacha.
Atra Sargo Visargascha.
Atra Sargo Visargascha.
Sthanam Poshanamutaya.
Sthanam Poshanam Utaya.
Manvantare Shanukata.
Manvantare Shanukata.
Nirodho Muktirashraya.
Nirodho Muktir Ashrayaha. Jayanta, puoi cantar?
Haribol, sì.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Sukha Uvacha
Shri Sukha Uvacha.
Atra Sargo Visargascha
Atta Sargo Visargascha.
Sthanam Poshanam Utaya
Sthanam Poshanam Utoyoho.
Mambantare Shanukatata
Manvantare Shanu Kata.
Nirodho Muktirashraya.
Nirodho Muktir Ashrayaha. And finishing off with Kama Gayatri Dasi.
Hare Krishna Guru Mantra, please accept my humble obeisances over to Prabhupada. Shri Shuka Uvacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Atra Sargo Vishargascha
Atta Sargo Visargascha.
Sthanam Pushanam Uttayaha
Sthanam Poshanam Uttayaha.
Manvatare Shanukata
Manvantare Shanukata.
Nirodho Muktir Ashrayaha.
Nirodho Muktir Ashrayaha. Thank you. Gracias. Okay. Now let's go ahead and push some of these buttons here. Okay. Okay. So atra means therein. Can you hear us, Radhika Raman?
Oh, sorry, Maj. I was on mute. Yes, Maj. Here or in this book.
Okay. So he's been talking about this. It's a pronoun reference. You know, Prabhupada says Srimad Bhagavatam, but it's a pronoun reference. And previously it's in pronombre. Porque anteriormente está explicando la respuesta de esas preguntas es Srimad Bhagavatam. Entonces, comentando, analizar el Srimad Bhagavatam. 10 comentarios. Okay. So now maybe if you go through and you can help us, vamos a pasar and hablar un poco de la traducción de cada palabra. So you can help us a little bit with the translation then. So sarga is what?
A creation from the root surge, which means to issue forth or to flow.
What, surge?
Surge.
Search.
Yeah. SRJ.
SRJ. Surge?
Yes.
Surge? Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Este la raíz fridge. S-E-R-E-G. Jota. Surge. SRJ. That means to surge forth, my God. Surge adelante. Okay, sarga. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Yeah. What is the difference there? I am the source of all creation. Aham sarvasya prabhavo.
So that's from the root bhu, which means to be or to become. So it becomes forth, whereas this is I emit or it flows out. So similar.
Similar, okay. Sargo and visarga. What does visarga mean then?
Same, but vi can say mean in this case again or repeated or secondary.
Okay, so visarga es otra vez creación, pero vi es otra vez segunda vez. Okay, cha y stanam.
So from stha, which means to be or to stand. So this is sthana means place, where you stand.
Okay, so aquí está, que es el sitio donde está recta, quedando. Okay, wow. Poshanam.
Poshana is from push, which means to nourish. So poshanam is nourishment or satisfaction also, or taking care of someone is poshana.
Okay. Poshana is nutriar, guardar alguien, or satisfacción. So go, where is it appears? Of course, we say, what is Balabhacharya Sampradaya is?
Pushti Maharaj.
It's the same word?
Yes, Maharaj, same root, exactly.
Okay. So the Balabhacharya Susampradaya Siyama Pushti Marg. And Pushti is nutriar. Okay, so entonces eso sendero, marga, de Raganuga Bhakti, de nutrificando los sentimientos. But it occurs someplace else too. I can't remember. It's also occurring somewhere else. We commonly use it commonly. Poshanam. Oh, I almost had it. No, it was. It's one of the verses that Poshanam. Can you think of where it is? Use this. Not the Putana verse. Is it Putana verse?
Ahobakiyam, that one?
Ahobakiyam stanakala kutam vijaya. Ahobakiyam stanakala kutam jigangsaya paya yad apya sarvi. Mebegatim datri yesu. Mebegatim datri. Tambalai, I know. But it says somewhere there. I can't remember.
Tushti Pushti Kshadapaya. The Yatha Taror Mula, not that. Yeah, Yatha Taror Mula verse.
Yeah, that's another verse. What is the verse?
Maharaj, it says like, no, not Yatha Taror Mula. Just Bhakti Pareshanubhava Virakti Anyatrasya Cha. And it says like every morsel of Tushti, Pushti, and Kshudapaya. Satisfaction, nourishment, and cessation of hunger.
So Srinivasa comentando que está en el texto donde dice cuando estamos ocupados en bhakti estamos sintiendo esta satisfacción paso por paso. But it's in another place. Okay. But so this is it, Poshanam. So Sarga, Visarga, Stanam, Poshanam. So it appears like a sequence. Yeah? There's a creation, subsequent creation, and then the creation of the planetary systems that might be seen, and then nourishing those after they're created. Utayaha?
Yes, so uti can mean enjoyment or play as well. It's basically uti, also often translated as inspiration.
Okay. Muchas veces traduciendo como inspiración or diversión. Okay. And here it's translated by Prabhupada as the creative impetus, el impetu creativa. Okay. Inspiration. Okay. Wow.
Imagine in the 8th canto of Bhagavatam, there's a very nice verse where Prabhupada translates uti as, I think, Krishna's pastime of creation. So he connects it with this sense of inspiration, of play, of enjoyment.
Okay. Now we're going to look at the word-by-word meaning for the Bhagavatam. Yeah, porque está comentando Radhika en octavo canto, Prabhupada está traduciendo como juego, play, diversión. How would these stuffy Sanskrit scholars look at these translations?
I think, Maharaj, they consider them to be translations within the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, following Sridhar Swami. So that's pretty clear.
Yeah, but I think you said one time that, well, I remember you said that when you and Krishna Kshetra were starting your book on your summary translation of the Bhagavatam, you were afraid that you'd have to go ahead and discount again and again Prabhupada's translations of different words. But then your first discovery was that whatever Prabhupada was doing was definitely what the Acharyas did. And after that, actually the Nirukti and the Amara Kosh and stuff were tending to support the personal translation as the primary translation. It was the primary meaning. Okay, wow. Yeah. So that the Mayavad explanation is actually an artificial imposition What is there? There's Amara Kosh, Nirukti, and there's one more, isn't there? Prabhupada mentions.
I don't remember.
Remember, after I was surprised. One more. Porque hay diccionarios. Es como en inglés. Let's see, Boswell, Samuel Johnson. Sei que Samuel Johnson. Johnson es la primera persona en el idioma inglés para escribir un diccionario. ¿No? So también, grandes suizis, bien aceptado, respetado, Amara Kosh, Nirukti, escribían diccionarios que está aceptado por todas esas personas después. Do you know the antiquity of the Amara Kosh or the Nirukti?
I don't know much the century in which it's composed.
What do you think? Is it before Shankara?
The Nirukti definitely. I don't know about Amara Kosha.
Okay, so no conoce exactamente la fecha de creación, pero Nirukti no sé, pero Amara Kosh sí, antes de Shankara. It's good to know because they're accepting these things. Creative impetus to work, impetus for activity. Okay. So so creative impetus in the sense not of, well, it's creative, artistic, but also of regular duties, it seems, no? Utayaha. Manvantara. What do we have here? Manvantara, changes of manus. Okay. Isha Anukata. La ciencia de Dios. Okay. Ciencia del controlador. Niroda. What does Niroda mean?
Dissolution, return, conclusion.
Conclusion. But here it has winding up. Going back home, back to Godhead. Okay. And Muktir, liberación, Ashraya, shelter. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. It's sufficiente para hoy día, enough for today. That study, we learned enough. Yeah.
Guru Maharaj,
so one time,
the Nirodha translation.
Wait a second. Okay. So now, call upon our audience. Anybody has any questions or comments? Ya comenzar con preguntas y comentarios. Y Srinivasacharya es casi listo a explotar. Okay.
Guru Maharaj, the word Nirodha here, it's actually, I don't know, I feel it's a mistake because because it is actually dissolution. It is going back and merging into Mahavishnu, because the Bhagavatam itself in the later verse, it defines what it is. And there it says the temporary merging of the living entities back, when they don't get liberation, they go merge into Vishnu and then come back again when there's creation. So I believe down few verses later, there is description of what it means.
Yeah. Srinivas is comentando, Srinivas tiene su comentario en Nirodha. Yeah. Que parece que diferente aquí. Pablo comentando aquí, revuelta a casa, revuelta divinidad, winding up the cosmic manifestations, winding up, suspension, destruction, stoppage, death, winding up, and choking the life air. Nirodha. Wow. What does nirvana mean? I always forget. It means no forest, without possession.
Actually, nirvana means extinguishing, or like the way a lamp is extinguished.
Okay, so it's not a combination of two words or anything.
It is nir and vana, and vana means I don't remember what vana is specifically, but it's not connected to vana. It's varna. It's a different letter N.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yes, because it's a very, very fundamental concept. Nice to know it, to be able to talk with these people. Okay. So, otras preguntas, comentarios, other commentaries, questions. Tenemos aquí nuestros gran eruditos este sábado. Yeah.
Gurudev, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Todas las glorias a Srila Prabhupada. Por favor, Gurudev, acepte mis reverencias.
Me es igual. Al contrario.
Gurudev, solo quería saber si entendí bien sobre el significado de nirvana. Dicen que significa extinción. ¿Entendí bien?
Oh, sí, es comentando que sea esa extensión como ¿cómo se dice? La luz de una lámpara.
Claro.
Like that. Yeah. Pero está con
Okay,
nearest
perfecto.
no. Pero no puedo recordar que es Varna. Es diferente de Vana. Yeah. So es muy buena palabra entender porque, claro, es muy prominente en el mundo actual.
Claro, exacto.
Budistas utilizando. Pero hoy día estamos hablando con Radhika, invitada principal. So, entonces estamos hablando de este área de práctica, es muy bueno, porque otras personas, si hay dudas acerca de qué dicen los Vedas, qué dicen los libros de India, va a la universidad, va a esos eruditos que tienen un conocimiento científico. So es bueno para predicar en este área. Pero para mucha gente no vale, ¿qué importa? Está más preocupado en la guardia de muchachos y si hay buen prasad, en todos, más eso es como una entidad social, aprendiendo filosofía básica, pero siempre bueno, suficiente. Krishna es Dios, nosotros somos servientes, desarrollando un conocimiento erudito, como necesita. So we need to develop a knowledge of erudite knowledge to some degree, but for many people it's simple enough. Just because it's God, we're His servants. I mean, they serve according to the respect for the brahmanas and leaders like that. Otras preguntas, comentarios.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I think that, if I could be wrong, but I think that Vana means arrows. So no arrows.
What do you think of that, Professor Gupta?
Yes, so Vana and Bana are both closely related. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Prabhu is making a good point. And there's also the root, the verb van. So some people trace it to van, which means to make a sound. So nirvana is that which makes no sound anymore. So it's different derivations are there of this word nirvana.
Okay. Of course, Srila Prabhupada gives an explanation which would make the what is it? different Buddhas, so where they would turn over in their graves. We go here. This the Shankaracharya, he must use it because Buddha came. Yeah. So Shankara must discuss it a lot because it appears to be a principal Buddhist term, no?
Yes.
Yeah. But Hridayananda Maharaj said that everybody agrees that nobody has Buddha's original teachings. Yeah. They all say, well, okay, it's this acharya, that acharya. Okay. But here's the conclusion of chapter 2 in Bhagavad Gita. Conclusión de Bhagavad Gita, capítulo 2, resumen de todo. Okay. And Krishna says, después de presentar todo a Arjuna, Esha Brahmi stita parta nainam prapya vimuyate stit vasyam ante kalaipi Brahma nirvana richati. So, okay. This is the way of spiritual and godly life. Este es el modo de vida espiritual y vida celestial, divina. After attaining which, después de obtener, un hombre nunca está confundido. Yeah. Si uno está situado de ese modo en el momento de la muerte, puede entrar en el reino de Dios. And this is how Prabhupada translates Brahma Nirvana. Yeah. Brahma Nirvana, the kingdom of God.
Hare Krishna Gurudeva, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to
Oh my
Shiva.
God. Okay. It's the supreme personality of your next life. You're going to be Lord Brahma.
Gurudeva, the same point you mentioned, Brahma Nirvana. I have a question related to that, Gurudeva. I was a bit confused. In first canto,
a lot of people would. One question here, Professor Gupta. If you translated Brahma Nirvana this way in theological circles, would half the people just die?
Maharaj, I think scholars acknowledge that nirvana is a pre-Buddhist term. So kind of the Buddhists have overtaken the word and made it their own. And so there are meanings that are non-Buddhist, which are appropriate. But I think Prabhupada's meaning here keeps all Mayavadis far distant from his translation, because they would really choke thinking of God.
Foam at the mouth. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, for example, if I said all of Radhika's family members are gay. Are they? Are all your family members gay?
No, Maharaj.
No, they're not. They're miserable. They're not happy.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah. Same way. I mean, the word has been kidnapped by it's a colloquial meaning. It has the word gay has nothing whatsoever to do with homosexual.
Yeah.
I would actually say that most homosexuals tend to be they tend to see less gay than heterosexuals. Yeah. It's the same way in Spanish. If I said, "Oh, erotica is a butterfly" in Spanish, erotica es una mariposa. Yeah. The word butterfly in Spanish means gay. Yeah. Yeah. So this is one of the fights, is to realize the contextual translation, and then actually just go ahead and declare that we're taking control of this word. Yeah. Okay.
The question I have is, Gurudeva, in first canto, 9th chapter, 39th verse, Gurudeva, where Bhishmadev mentions that every single one who fought in the Kurukshetra war will get their own Swarupa and go back to Godhead. And whereas in Bhagavad Gita, some places when Krishna mentioned to Arjuna, if you die, you go to Swargaloka and enjoy the life there. And if you win, you get the life here on the material world, you become the emperor. So in these two things, how do I understand, Gurudeva? Especially in Mahabharata, it says that Duryodhana is enjoying in heavenly planets, and Pandavas, while walking towards hell, they peek into this one, and they all talk about hell and heaven. But here Bhishmadeva is pointing that everyone will go back to, and everyone will get their own Swarupa. It's transcendental.
What's the verse? No. No. The verse I'm trying to think of. Sadatad bhava baditaha. Yam yam.
Smaran bhavam tyajetante kalevaram.
Yeah, Tamaste. So that's the answer. I asked one Brijbasi one time about consciousness. He said, "This is my consciousness." Yeah. So it depends upon the specific consciousness of the people involved. Most of the soldiers at Kurukshetra did not have any particular enmity towards Krishna, envy, like Duryodhana and everybody else. They didn't feel enmity or anger towards the Pandavas. They respected them. They were there because it was going to be a good fight, and when the nation's flag is fixed, then the soldier fights for it. Prabhupada says that. Prabhupada says all your soldiers who died in Vietnam fighting for their country, that's Kshatriya Dharma. It was a righteous thing. But then they understand, okay, we're fighting for our country, and you're fighting for your country. But at a certain point, it goes beyond country, and there's humanity, and we both agree, okay, it's a very common phrase, soldiers, enough killing for one day, and it's a very common thing among soldiers. Okay, we fought enough today. So that's one thing, is that all the soldiers at Kurukshetra weren't just there because it was their dharma. Mostly they're in the mode of passion, But when they saw how Arjuna and Krishna were fighting and what they were doing and everything else, and the Pandavas, and they were so inspired. That's how to do our dharma. That's what it really means, And so then they got Swarupya Mukti, because they were thinking of Krishna and Arjuna in their forms, the heroes like that, Other people like Duryodhana and others, because they were inimical, but they were killed by Krishna and Arjuna. Okay, so then maybe they got, like Dhritarashtra. He wasn't able to get bhakti. He only became a dhira. So same maybe again, Duryodhana and those kind of people. They sometime they got freed from everything else, but then went back into their forms as rakshasas. They descended to this world. So then there's different descriptions. In the Mahabharata too, we can't always take everything as being perfect. What do you understand from Hridayananda Maharaj or commentaries? Madhvacharya, he says that things are corrupted. Bhagavad Gita not. But then it also says that the Pandavas went to Swarga. But as I understand, I had an argument on this with Ananta Rupaji, with Srivas Pandit there, that I was reading that when the Pandavas went to Swarga, and they realized, oh, hey, we're in Swarga now, but Vaikuntha is above this. It's like you think, oh, it's all part of the same thing. But when you get there up at the top, then you realize, oh, well, this is actually higher. And so then they realized at that point that Vaikuntha, which is mentioned in the Mahabharata, all these things in general, Vaikuntha, it actually is a part of Swarga, but, it's accessible from Swarga, more accessible, but it's something even higher, and even higher within Vaikuntha, like that. And so then and so Nantrup was arguing, Swarga means the kingdom of God and the demigods. Then I found it, probably quotes it someplace, and he says that actually Swarga is also taken to be, to include, for people who are less informed, aren't so clear, to include the Vaikuntha planets also. So the Pandavas, Pandavas went with Krishna. That was where they went. And they always were with Krishna, and they're always going to accompany Krishna. So wherever they are, if they stay in this world as administrative demigods, or if they go with Krishna to the next material universe where he's going, or they go back to some other place to become Narayan Rishi, they're always with Krishna and stuff. So does that help a little bit?
Yes, Gurudeva. Thank you, Gurudeva. Especially the last point you mentioned about the demigods piece. I heard Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's lecture in Brahma Samhita. He used the term spiritual demigods. I was confused when he says spiritual demigods, and then he said these are the demigods that protect the Goloka, and even though they call it as demigods, but they are part of Krishna Loka, and they live there. And he said the Palakas, and all that. He gave so much explanation about that one, and then that puts me that saying that, okay, in Vaikuntha also you have these demigods and all of these the structure. I mean, the same kind of structure.
Yes, it's different people will see it different ways. People won't be able to. Some people have no idea whatsoever of a transcendental kingdom of God. Many Christians, their idea of heaven is simply material. Okay, we should go ahead with Upendra now, though. Okay, my God. We're missing out on the real nectar here. Upendra Das.
Thank you, Gurudeva.
Are you there? Vamos a pasar Upendra. Canto, decima canto.
Hare Krishna, it all goes to Prabhupada Maharaj.
Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai.
Maharaj, we're going on chapter 45, Maharaj. The 44.
Oh my God.
Killing of Kansa, Maharaj. 44.
Okay.
Killing
La
of
Matanza, the killing of Kansa. Asesinado de Kansa. What verse?
Mark the text number 47.
Okay, so we go down here quickly. Okay.
It is no. This verse is told by like a Kansa's wife, and Kansa died. So he says.
Oh.
So
okay. Este texto es de las. Tiene dos esposas, Asti y Prapti y Asti. Uno de los esposos o ambos de Kansa después de su muerte está hablando esto. Anagasam tvam bhutanam. You pronounce it. You're good.
Anagasam tvam bhutanam.
Anagasam tvam bhutanam.
Kartavan doram ubanam ulabanam.
Kritavandroham ulbanam.
Tene mamam bohodasham nito.
Tene mam bohodasham nito.
Bhuta druk ko labeta sam.
Bhuta druk ko labeta sham.
So you give a very instructive, says that one, oh dear one, you have been brought to this state because of the terrible violence you committed against the innocent creatures, how can one who harmed others attain the happiness? This is the basic problem.
Querido esposo, usted ha llegado a este estado causado por su violencia horrible contra otras personas inocentes, creatures. Como una persona quien causa daño a otros obtener felicidad. Muy sabio, las reinas. They're very intelligent ladies.
Yeah. So now, having expressed their sentimental grief, the ladies now speak practical wisdom.
Ahora, después de expresar su lamentación sentimental, las damas están presentando sabiduría práctica.
They are beginning to see the things realistically because their minds were purified by the agony of the recent events and by the association of Lord Krishna.
Está comenzando a ver cosas realísticamente porque sus mentes están purificados desde el sufrimiento de los eventos recién y por la asociación del Señor Krishna.
So now I'll describe what happened before this verse, Maharaj. Last time we left in that chapter where it says that Charuna wrestler was challenging Krishna to fight.
Okay, lo que ha pasado después de la última semana, estamos hablando de como Chanura está hablando de invitando a Krishna a luchar.
So Krishna accepted the challenge of Chanura. He fought with Chanura and Balaram fought with Mustika wrestler.
Okay, Krishna aceptando el desafío de Chanura, luchando con él, y Balaram luchando con Mustika.
So while fighting, Krishna and Balaram were fully absorbed as wrestlers externally. It appeared that both of them were harmed during the wrestling, while doing the wrestling match.
Durante de la lucha, aparece que Krishna y Balaram ambos fueron recibiendo daños, heridos.
But the women of Mathura were outraged. They were offended.
Y las ciudadanos de Mathura, las mujeres fueron molestados. ¿Qué pasa?
So because they said that these professional wrestlers are Chanura and Mustika are as strong as a lightning bolt and their body is resembling the mountain and they are fighting with two immature boys with a tender limb.
My God. Está describiendo Krishna y Balaram como muchachos muy delicados y Chanura y Mustika como montañas de piedras y relámpagos y tronos. And this no es justo, una lucha justa.
Sorry, I will use a short phrase. The women were talking among themselves. This is irreligious act.
Las mujeres están hablando uno a otro. Este es un acto irreligioso.
Even if the king wants to see unfair match, why our members of the assembly should see this match?
Aunque el rey quiere ver una lucha en igual, porque nosotros vamos a tolerar either estas cosas.
The women condemned Mathura because here Krishna is harassed by the bullying techniques of the professional wrestlers.
Las mujeres están condenando a Mathura porque Krishna y Balaram fueron molestados por estos modos muy brutos de estos luchadores.
And they are saying that whereas in Vrindavan, Krishna enjoys with the gopis and coward boys.
En contraste en Vrindavan, Krishna está disfrutando con los pastorcillas de vacas, los gopas y gopas.
So they are saying that what austerities gopis have performed to drink the beauty of Krishna's face.
Para beber el néctar del rostro de cara de Krishna.
And the gopis are very fortunate because their minds are always attached to Krishna.
Los gopis son muy afortunados porque sus mentes siempre están apegadas a Krishna.
They must have done the many pious activities to see Krishna every day, every minute.
Es cierto que ha realizado muchas actividades piadosas para ver Krishna cada minuto, cada día.
So as these movements were talking like this, now Krishna decided, made up his mind to kill his opponent.
Mientras las mujeres están hablando de esa manera perturbado, Krishna está fijado su mente en matar los luchadores.
So Krishna hit with a blow on Chanura, and his arms and limbs were weakening.
Oh, Krishna está comenzando a pegar Chanura y sus miembros, brazos, está convirtiendo débil.
But Chanura attacked Krishna on his chest again.
Pero Chanura está soltando Krishna en su pecho otra vez.
And then Krishna grabbed Chanura's arm and swung him around several times and threw him down on the ground.
Entonces Krishna está capturando los brazos de Chanura y haciendo vueltas con él. Woof, 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 pow, y tirando en la piso.
So wrestler fell down and he died.
Y se muere.
The Balaram struck Mustika with his fist, and he
Y Balaram está pegando Mustika con su puñado.
The Mustika fell lifeless on the ground, and the Krishna and Balaram. Yeah.
Inmediatamente Mustika es cayendo en la tierra, muerta.
So Krishna and Balaram killed the other wrestlers like Kutta, Sala, and Tosala, and the remaining wrestlers all fled for their life.
Okay, so en Krishna, Balaram está matando uno más de los luchadores, y los demás está corriendo para escapar con sus vidas.
So now Kansa sees all this and he's really nervous.
Yeah. So Kansa está observando todas esas cosas y convirtiendo muy perturbado.
So Kansa announces that drive out Krishna and Balaram from the city.
Echaste Krishna y Balaram de la ciudad.
Confiscate the coward men's property and arrest Nanda Maharaj.
Yeah. Confiscar las cosas de los patrocinios de vacas y arrest Nanda Maharaj.
And then he says they arrest Krishna, even killed the fool Vasudev and my father Ugrasena.
Mata el padre de Krishna y mi padre Ugrasena. Es un demonio.
My father and his followers have always sided with the enemies.
Mi padre y sus seguidores siempre están al lado de mis enemigos. Nunca me quiere.
So Krishna was now intense, very angry, and he quickly jumped over the royal throne.
Yeah, Krishna está muy enojado, saltando a la trono royal.
So when Kansa sees that Krishna is coming, so Kansa grabbed the shield and sword.
Kansa puede ver que Krishna viene sacando su escudo y su sword. Krishna Chakravarti.
Kansa moved quickly from side to side, but Krishna grabbed him by his ears.
Okay. Vishnu Chakravarti, can you translate? I can understand his Hindi, maybe. You can understand.
Okay.
Yes, Maharaj, I'm here. Can you repeat again, please, Prabhu?
Yes. So now when Krishna killed Chanura and Mustika, Krishna and Balaram, so Kansa was very angry. And
Entonces, Krishna y Balaram mataron a Chanura y Mustika y Kansa estaba muy enojado.
So Kansa said that throw out Krishna and Balaram out of the city.
Entonces Kansa dijo que Krishna y Balaram tenían que tirarlo a la ciudad.
We translated all of that. We translated everything you said before.
Oh, okay. So Mara, I will go back. Oh, okay, we left over here. Okay. Oh, sorry, Krishna was intensely angry and he quickly jumped over the royal throne.
Entonces Krishna estaba profundamente molesto que lo sacó del trono real.
So and now Kansa grabs the shield and sword as he sees Krishna is approaching.
Entonces Kamsa tomó el escudo y la espada al ver que Krishna estaba acercándose.
So now the Kansa moves quickly side by side, but Krishna grabbed the Kans by his hairs.
Can you repeat that last part again, please, Prabhu?
Krishna grabbed the Kansa by his hairs, hair on the head.
Entonces Krishna agarró a Kamsa de su cabello, del pelo.
And knocked down his crown and threw him on the wrestling mat.
Y tirando su corona, lo tiró al campo a la arena de batalla.
So Krishna struck Kansa with his fist again and again.
Entonces Krishna golpeó a Kamsa con sus puños una y otra vez.
And Kansa lost his vital force.
Y de esta forma Kamsa perdió su fuerza vital.
So now Krishna dragged the Kansa's dead body into the arena so that everyone can see Kansa is dead.
Y entonces Krishna comenzó a arrastrar el cuerpo muerto de Kamsa para que alrededor de la arena de batalla, para que así todos pudieran ver que Kamsa estaba muerto.
So now the 8 brothers of Kansa try to attack the Lord Krishna.
Entonces los 8 hermanos de Kamsa trataron de matar a Krishna.
But Balram slew them, all the demons with a club.
Entonces Balaram detuvo a todos estos demonios o a estos hermanos demoníacos de Kamsa.
So now this was we were talking about the Kansa's wife were crying. Now demigods showered the flowers upon Krishna.
Y entonces las esposas de Kamsa se pusieron a llorar y los semidioses comenzaron a lanzar flores a Krishna.
So now the very important verse comes that Krishna says that Krishna is a cause and appearance of disappearance of all beings.
Of all what, Prabhu?
No. Krishna is the cause of appearance and disappearance of everyone in the world. He maintains everyone.
Entonces un verso muy importante dice que Krishna es la causa de la aparición y la desaparición de todas las entidades vivientes en el mundo.
But Krishna, one who disrespectful the Krishna in this world, can never be happy.
Pero alguien que es irrespetuoso en contra de Krishna no puede ser nunca feliz en este u otro mundo.
So now Krishna consoled the royal ladies and arranged for the funeral.
Entonces Krishna habló con las mujeres que estaban a cargo del funeral.
And Krishna, Balram.
No. Pacificando a las mujeres y abrigando para el funeral.
Okay.
Okay. So now Krishna and Balram release the Vasudeva and Devaki, and they were released Vasudeva and Devaki.
Entonces Krishna y Balaram finalmente liberaron a su madre y a su padre, a Devaki y a Vasudeva, de su captura.
Cuando eres el impostor y finges ser
Sorry, Prabhu, there is another mic open, I think.
I don't know, Prabhu, whose mic is that, Prabhu? I don't
now
know.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, sorry, Prabhu. So now, but Vasudeva and Devaki can understand that he is the Krishna and Balram Krishna is the Lord of the universe.
Entonces ahora Vasudeva y Devaki, al ser liberados por Krishna, pudieron entender que Krishna es el Señor del universo.
So they did not embrace him, but they simply stood there with their joint palms.
Y por lo tanto no fueron a abrazarles, sino que simplemente se quedaron de pie con sus palmas juntas.
So Maharaj, if we have a time, we can go to the next chapter, or we can do it next week, Maharaj.
Maybe let's do it next week, and maybe we'll give you maybe half an hour.
Okay, Maharaj. Sorry, Maharaj, I didn't. But I was wondering, like, is it like a Kansa's wife was saying that how one can be happy, one who causes the pain to others? So is it like in the devotional life also we have to be careful, like we have to be see that I should do whatever it takes to become progress in my devotional life and not care about others, then you pay the price also over there also, Maharaj?
Well, okay, yeah, traducción.
Entonces el Prabhu está preguntando que aquí se está hablando que quien no toma consideración del sufrimiento de la otra persona o de la otra entidad viviente, mejor dicho, no puede disfrutar en esta vida. Entonces, de la misma forma, ¿qué ocurre cuando ejecutando nuestro servicio devocional a veces no somos considerados con otras entidades vivientes? Si es que acaso tenemos que pagar el precio por aquello también.
No, this is what a misunderstanding.
Este es un malentendido.
Yeah, the first level of spiritual life.
El primer nivel de la vida espiritual
is to understand that everybody is part and parcel of Krishna.
Es entender que cada entidad viviente es parte y porción de Krishna.
Yeah. So how can I serve Krishna if I'm causing pain to his hands?
Entonces, ¿cómo podría estar causándole placer a Krishna si le estoy causando dolor a su mano?
Yeah. So it's not possible to try and advance in my spiritual life and at the same time neglecting how it's having an effect on others.
Así que es imposible hacer algún tipo de avance en la vida espiritual sin estar consciente de los efectos que estoy causando en otros u otras.
Yeah. Of course we have a broader perspective.
Por supuesto que tenemos una perspectiva más amplia.
The children think they are suffering.
Que los niños y niñas piensan que están sufriendo.
Because they cannot eat all the cookies they want to eat.
Porque no pueden comer todas las galletas que quieren comer.
But the parents understand this will make them sick and give them diabetes for life.
Pero los padres pueden saber que esto los va a enfermar y les va a causar diabetes por toda su vida.
Yeah. So with a view for their broader happiness, sometimes they do things which appear distressful.
Así que cuando estamos viendo por la felicidad a largo plazo, entonces puede ser que las acciones parezcan que causan algún tipo de incomodidad o malestar.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for your nice association, Maharaj.
But also, I want to thank everybody here.
Y también quiero agradecer a todos quienes están acá.
More than 40 devotees.
Más de 40 devotos y devotas.
Radhika Raman Reti Devi Dasi. Mitravinda Devi Dasi. Maite. Maite. Arjuna Das. Chaitanya Charitamrita Das. And Jyada Nisringa Das. And many more. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to Kendra. Thanks to the chief guests. Yes.
Muchas gracias a todos nuestros invitados. Muchas gracias a todos.
Now we hope everybody can now go to Brahma Nirvana. We can all go to Brahma Nirvana.
Así que ahora esperamos que todos se puedan ir a Brahma Nirvana.
have breakfast.
Y que puedan tener desayuno ahí.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
All glories to Vaishnava.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, devotos.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.